welcome on into the Name Sports YouTube channel here for the Killie boys on Football Manager 21. If you're new around here, make sure and hit that subscribe button down below for more Football Manager content. And as you can see from the screen, we have finished this season. I've not shown you any games to finish the season. Nothing really meant anything towards the end of the year. We lost to Hearts in our first game, which put us 9 points behind, and we were never making that back up. Unfortunately, you can see the way the table finished just there. Celtic winning the league by a point thanks to their 3-0 victory against us at the end of the season in the last game. Traore scoring a hat-trick against us, so he scored quite a lot of goals against us this season. Unfortunately for us, you can see we only ended up winning 15 games this whole season, which is less than half of the games we played we won, which is something that I'd like to try and at least win half of our games. But the problem we really had was the 13 draws in there. If we just turned 5 of those into wins instead, you see we would have finished above Hearts, and that's really the main point of this season. A kind of breakdown. It's not going to be a long video, this video, but breaking down the season that's just gone. And yeah, that was a big part of it, drawing far too many games. If I have a look at the squad and some of the statistics from this season as we break it down, we can see that Roddell Richards up here, he played most of the games for us this season, but he's out for 3 months now, which means he might miss the start of this coming season. And you can see, he played 46, started 46, came off the bench twice, he played 48 games this season, a vital, integral part of this team, alongside players like Mark Spence, CJ Egan-Riley, who seemed to play across the back line, never consistently playing, but he seemed to play everywhere in that defence. Cammy Logan getting a lot of games at right back, which proves Egan-Riley was playing a lot of centre back as opposed to his normal right back position. Makirai-Nitis, no surprises there in the middle of the park. Kokovas as well at left back. You can see our main striker was Eamon Brophy throughout the season. He did score 17 goals, but it wasn't the most. Roddell Richards did have 19 goals off that right hand side. Bolly had some nice goals as well, 8 goals. From his winger position. Elliot Scott played for 16 games the second half of the season, got 5 goals. A bit of a disappointing return from that loan. Greg Kiltie got 5 as well, and you can see not a lot of goals elsewhere. Only 2 players in double digits, which is slightly worrying, I would say, especially when Brophy is in a huge goal drought at the moment. He's not scored for a very, very long time. If we go and have a look at his form, the last time he scored a goal is not even in the last 20 games. I know he's not played in a few of them, but you can see he's not had an assist or a goal since the 5th of February, and I don't even know how long ago before that is, which is not ideal for somebody who is your number one striker, which is obviously why we're looking to sort that with Alan Graham. But to be fair, Alan Graham, when he's been at Hamilton this season, has not scored many goals either, only scoring 5 in 22 games across the season. We might have a goal scoring issue, and we might need to see if we can sort that, but hopefully Alan Graham will be that solution when he comes and plays in our system. He's got 17 finishing. He's been playing as a deep line striker for Hamilton. When he comes to our team, he will be playing as an advanced forward, so hopefully he can do the business there. Average rating wise, I don't think it's any surprise that our defensive players mainly are up the top of this. The only folk above 7 though were Robbie Much, Egan-Riley, Jamie Hamilton, who came halfway through the year, and Kokovas. I must say, Kokovas, 100% player of the season for us. He was great going forward, to see with 8 assists there, and coming back, he was solid as well. And I very, very much enjoyed playing with him this year. He's now worth £3.5 million. I got him for £180,000, and I say he's a very well-rounded player, and I'm looking forward to playing with him in future seasons. For the last couple of games, when nothing was really up for grabs, I did trial a new formation to try and fit 2 strikers, maybe play Brophy and Graham next season. Doesn't look like it's going to work. Maybe it was because it was against Rangers and Celtic, but we really weren't playing well, so I certainly think we're going to go back to this formation, and possibly this formation for games that we're expected to lose. But yeah, we'll stick with this formation, and maybe see if we can adjust some bits to get some more goals. But you can see Roddell Richards, when he plays out in the wing there, does a very, very good job. But if we're missing Roddell Richards out there, we don't actually have an adequate backup at the moment. So that might be somewhere that we look to improve our squad in the transfer window. The same can be said on the left-hand side, to be honest, as well. Between Bolly and Forrest and Sabic and Mockery, that no one really started there. We don't really have a first choice on that left hand side, and we really want to get that. We've got a nice middle of the park, between Makaronitis, Kastrup, Woods has been in on loan. Obviously, we have a few players in on loan, but we've got some nice players in the middle. Tate up there in the attacking midfield, I'm very happy with, and we've got enough people who can fill in behind him, but we don't really have that number one left winger, which might be something we go and have a look at, because we've now got our new striker Alan Graham, who costs us the £18 million over a long period of time, but it's still going to cost us £18 million. So he's going to be that striker to hopefully deal with Brophy's lack of goals, especially the second half of this season, which is really what's punished us here. If Brophy had scored even 5 more goals this season, we could easily have had those 5 draws into 5 wins, and then we would have been in third position, exactly where we wanted to be. But fourth is just that one spot below where we want to be. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in the context of this, it's a different European competition. It really does make a difference. Defensively, I was very happy with us. I thought we were fairly solid, even though we were conceding goals at points. We were conceding a lot of chances, and but defensively, I think we did very well indeed. And in goal, I think the 2 goalkeepers we've got, Much and Peacock Farrell, both performed very well, and they're happy to be here. Much happy to be the starter. Peacock Farrell happy to be seen as the backup and perhaps cup goalkeeper, and that's what we played him as. And I must say, I've been very, very impressed with him. Looking at the transfers that are already agreed to come in, we've got Robbie Burton on loan just now, but he's going to join permanently at the end of the season. So that's another great option in midfield and attacking midfield. Really good squad play. You can see he's 3.5 stars at the moment. So very, very solid indeed, and someone we'll hopefully get a lot of use out of. Another one I'm fairly interested in is Bjorn Hardley here. He's on loan at Rangers now. He's played 25 games this season for Rangers. 2 assists, 2 player of the match, 7.2 average rating. But he's a centre-back and left-back from Man United. He'll be joining us on a free at the end of the season to add to our defensive capabilities. Perhaps compete with Kokovas for left back, but Kokovas has got the left back slot just now, and I want him to keep it because he played really, really well for us. So maybe this is someone that can fill in at centre back because he's a 4-star rated player, or certainly compete with Spence and Hamilton for that centre back position. Defensively, I think we're very solid. You've got Logan on the right hand side, Kokovas on the left, Spence and Hamilton. I'd like to be our first choice. You've got CG Egan Riley, who can't fit in at all in that defence, who's probably one of our best players, to be honest, which is why I was trying to work that 5 at the back to fit CG Egan Riley in. And even Bjorn Hardley, when he does arrive, he's going to be a centre back as well. So perhaps we could do with some more spaces to play centre backs, but we'll see what we can do when these players arrive and if there's any new faces that come in. So our best 11 for this season, according to the wee best 11 thing you get, was Much, Logan, Egan Riley, Spence and Kokovas, Makaronitis and Tate, Richards, Kiltie, Bolly and Brophy. The one that surprises me there really is Greg Kiltie, which I don't know why it surprises me so much, because he was fairly solid for us when he played. He's played 32 times apparently as well. I just didn't expect him to be there. And that makes the overall best 11 look like this. You've got O'Hara in goal. He's played 87 times in the time we've been here. Egan Riley, Finlay and Etienne, with Jordan Brown, which is a very surprising one, in my opinion. Only playing 51 times, but getting that spot at left back. Kastrup and Tate playing in the middle. Bolly and Didio as the wingers, and Brophy and Richards up top. We're still playing the 4-2-2-2 there, which is something we might go back to maybe if we want to start scoring some more goals. Remember, we're very successful in this formation, and maybe something we could consider. So the club vision and expectations meeting. Bear in mind, last year they said we wanted to qualify for the Euro Cup this year. They've now said they want us to qualify for the Euro Cup 2 next year. So that's fairly realistic, and then continue to qualify for that. So their expectations for future years have also dropped, since we didn't qualify for it this year, which I mean, I'm happy with, but also perhaps slightly confused with. You can see our contract expires at the end of next season as well, so we would like to get a new contract fairly soon as well to guarantee that we are in a job following this season. They also want us to reach the group stage of the Euro Cup 2, which hopefully we can do, because you can see we nearly got to the Champions League group stage this year if it weren't for PSV, and we got out of the group stage of the actual Europa League. So hopefully for this Euro Cup 2 we can get out of it as well. We'll accept that vision, and we'll go to the end of season team meeting. We'll say to them, I've been encouraged by the way we've taken our attempt to implement our style of play, and I think we can take a step further when we come back. Or they've been pessimistic. They're surprised to hear that because they don't think they've done a good job. I'll respect that each of you have your own opinion. Where will we look for to be attaining in the Euro Cup 2? We'll want to aim to reach the knockout stages or the competition proper. Let's say competition proper. They think that's a sensible target. Good. I'm glad indeed. We'll get to promises when you return. That all sounds good to me. Perfect, thank you. I like to not give too many promises because often I break them and then that really affects their morale, which is not ideal at all. Our team report here says that we tend to mark well. Good strong work ethic, that's fantastic. What's our weakness? Our weakness is natural fitness and goalkeepers, apparently. Perhaps could do with more depth and goal. Lack of quality at centre back. We're possibly going to solve that with the signing from Manchester United. And I agree with the lack of depth at left midfield. It says the best 11. We've got Thomas Hill, who's contracted to us. Remember the boy we got from Liverpool. He's not a great player, to be honest. He's a good kind of backup to fill all the positions you need. A good player for the bench. You can see in his time with us, he's played 11 games. We got him on a free last summer, I should say. 6 starts, 5 bench appearances, 6.7. He's played all right when he's played, but not exactly someone you want to be seen as your best left midfielder. So I think that's a position we're really looking to upgrade. If you look at the rest of the positions, I'm very, very happy with it. But left side, let's try and improve the left side. If you look at injuries, we weren't too badly affected this season. The main one was Sam Denham, who's not even in our first squad, but Charles Bowley and Dylan Tate were the two out for a couple of months, basically, between them. Or each, I should say. They were the big ones, and that did actually affect us a little bit. You see Bowley on the left-hand side, he'd been starting for us, and then we kind of had to chop and change. And when Dylan Tate was lost as well behind the striker, we had to chop and change some of our centre mids to push up there, which was not ideal, kind of broke up the flow. The players will return on the 23rd of June, and we'll see what wheelings and dealings I can do around that time. And one thing to look at is our players out on loan, actually, just as this reminds me, with Josh Bowler. He's currently out on loan at St Mirren. He's had a fantastic season at St Mirren. 28 games, including 21 starts, 10 goals, 5 assists, 3 players of the match, and over 7 average rating. Perhaps this man could be one of our solutions to our left-hand side problem. He's also worth £7 million, so see if he's not the solution, let's sell him for that value and make some money on him. Certainly, you can see he played, 10 games for us when he arrived in his first season before going out on loan for the second half of the season to St Mirren last year, and then again this season here. He didn't do too bad for us, actually. Maybe we'll give him a game. I'll see. A couple of the other players who are notably out on loan, both at St Johnstone, was Ryan Law, the left back. If you remember, we got him from Coleraine and sent him out on loan to St Johnstone. 6.84 average rating, 34 appearances for St Johnstone. Did not too bad at all. And the other player out at St Johnstone was Amadeo Berlanda, who's improving fairly decently as the midfielder. Nearly a 7 average rating, 6.94, 3 goals, 3 assists, 2 players of the match in his 34 games. I must say I was fairly impressed with his wee loan spell out there at St Johnstone. And quickly, our player statistics there for this season. Roddy Richards, top scorer with 19. Kokavas, the highest average rating. Lovely assists from Bowley and Tate. That doesn't surprise me. Maybe Bowley does because he didn't play as much, but certainly not a surprise with Tate. And Makrenitis filling out best pass completion. Kokavas with the most player of the matches. Again, not surprising. He's played really well. Makrenitis maybe needs to reel in his temper a little bit. 12 yellows and 1 red this season. You can also see from the league, we no longer have Ayrshire derbies to play because Ayr United have been relegated, and Livy are actually in the relegation playoff with whoever's in the second position in the championship. So we'll see what our Premiership league looks like for next season with the teams that come up. I know this hasn't been the most exciting episode, just a wee bit of a kind of review of what's happened so far this season and perhaps what we're looking to do moving forward. But if you have enjoyed this season, this whole series as a whole even, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for next season, which is going to start tomorrow. We'll have a look at some of our transfers. We might play a game. I don't even know what's going to happen. We'll need to see what happens. But until the next one, see you then.